Hey there, everyone, and welcome to Montessori 101, a live show from Child of the Redwoods, all about the magic of Montessori. We believe that every child deserves a Montessori education.
That's right.
I'm Aubrey Hargis.
And I'm David Hargis. So whether you're live, hello out there, or maybe you're watching the replay, maybe you're listening to this as a podcast, whatever method, we're just happy you're with us. And if you'd like to know more about our work, you can find us online at childoftheredwoods.com.
That's right. All right. So what is up for today?
Well, I think we have an amazing lesson today.
I think it's, are you
Awesome.
sure it's not an awesome lesson?
Awesome lesson. That's right.
It is awesome and amazing. Yes,
That's
we're
right.
going to show you a lesson that comes from one of our constellation thematic units. Also, this is a great lesson because, just use the word great lesson. And where the great lessons are found is
in the lower L program.
The lower elementary curriculum,
That's right.
which we are going through a little push for enrollment right now. If you are thinking about joining our lower elementary program, this would be a good time to enroll.
That's right.
You can enroll in lower elementary anytime, but we only host the coaching and challenges from August through May, and we divide it into 2 semesters. So we have the first semester really
it's September to January.
That's
right.
Our first semester, and our second semester is
today,
February
or tomorrow,
1st,
yeah.
February through the end of May. All right, and the reason for this is because
we know a lot of folks, even though philosophically and every other way, we want to see big picture learning. But we know a lot of folks are just really, really interested in those 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic, which I suppose is a violation of the
not only, but like concerned about. I think culturally, in our culture, we make a big push for those 3 R's, and
they're a gateway to everything else. So, for example, in the first half, we cover humankind, which includes history, culture, foundations of life, things like that. The sciences, physical and life science, the arts. So to understand those, you would use, or as the child gets older, you would use reading, right? We would have the child engage more and more in self-discovery through reading.
Opens up all of the subjects of learning.
All that's to say that reading is great. And we know that some folks want to jump right into that first. And so when we structured the program, we intentionally put reading and writing as the first in the second half, which is in February. So for those who are interested in jumping into that first, you have an opportunity. Now, it doesn't mean you don't get to learn all the others. You get the lifetime access program, so you get all the materials, and it's a 13-month coaching program. So you'll get to come back around and you'll view those again. But if you want to jump in first and learn the reading and writing curriculum in Montessori for lower L with a heavy review of what happens in primary to help, because, a child's readiness can really vary. So we want to make sure it's covered. Plus grammar, plus math, plus geometry.
Geometry, which usually isn't taught until much older.
That's right.
And in Montessori, we teach it early.
Yeah, and you'll learn it in May.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in learning about the lower elementary program, the curriculum, and how to use that at home, and some of the stuff that we talk about regularly on this program really pairs perfectly to that, then we encourage you to come over to our website, check it out, see if it's a good fit for you or your family, or ask any questions you might have.
We also have a quiz on our website that we haven't talked about in a while. So if you're wondering which program is right for your child, because we serve ages 2 through 9, so quite a big age range, but there are several programs that overlap with each other. So for example, if you've got a 5-year-old, you're kind of on the border between our primary program or a lower elementary program, and we can help you make that decision if you're kind of wondering. We also have Constellation, which serves ages 2 through 9. A lot of people wonder if they should take a foundation course like primary or lower elementary, or Constellation, our thematic program. And the truth is that all of our programs are designed. David and I spent many hours and years talking about how to make to how to ensure that our programs work synergistically with each other and support each other. So there's no completely separate program. All of those programs are really in sync with each other and build upon each other. And if you're concerned about which program your child really is best served with, just email us or talk to us on our website. There's a little chat button.
Box.
Yeah.
Yep.
Reach out and we'll help you make a decision. All right, let's talk about mysteries.
Yes. Mysteries.
So what is a mystery?
Well, what is a mystery?
So what comes to mind for you when I just say the word mystery? What pops up in your head first? First thing.
Detectives.
Yes,
Sherlock
me too.
Holmes.
I was thinking the emoji with the sunglasses.
Oh, I was thinking of the Sherlock Holmes with the cap.
That's another good emoji. Do you use that one?
No. I was just thinking of the image. Yes.
I know you're not a big emoji guy, but I use that one sometimes. Yes. So yes, the detective, the little cap and the magnifying glass, or just magnifying glasses in general, is a good symbol for what a mystery is. I think about mystery novels. They were always around our house because my mother went through a big mystery novel phase. I don't know how many years of her life that lasted for, but I remember always seeing mysteries around the house. Agatha Christie, just so many mysteries. And today, mystery novels are still super popular.
Well, and a true crime genre,
yes,
which is obviously related to mystery. The mystery novel and mystery has long been a fascination. And today that the podcast craze for true mysteries, or there's even that TV show True Crime, which is a true mystery-esque inspired type thing. It's. Or you think Law and Order was on for like 30 years, and it's not, it's a mystery of figuring something out. So we're just sort of.
I'm thinking of Indiana Jones.
Oh, Indiana Jones, and more superstitious or fantastical kinds of mysteries.
Yes, so the hunting for a treasure kind of mystery, and the dangerous elements of mysteries too, right? You never know. Oh yes, I'm just thinking of all of the childhood movies that I watched. That are like elementary age, where kids are going on an adventure. Do you remember, like in the 80s, was like the electric company or something? They would go on mysteries.
Well, what I remember as a child is reading Encyclopedia Brown.
Oh yes,
I read a lot of Encyclopedia
Nancy Drew.
Brown.
Those are a little bit older.
So, what is it about mystery? So, we're going to talk about the use of mysteries. What do you think it is about mysteries that captivate adults and kids?
It's a hard question, honestly.
Yeah.
So when I think about what makes mysteries so appealing to us, I think at the base instinct, it's that curiosity that we have as human beings. We have this craving to want to know more about things.
We do,
right?
Yeah.
And it really benefits us if we think about it from a biological perspective. I'm thinking, and this is a very lower elementary topic too, thinking about early humans and how they may have perceived the world. So we can think about looking in the sky and wondering, like, what are those twinkling things out there?
That's right.
Or what is the moon shines sometimes and allows us to go out of our caves and see at night. And sometimes it's very, very dark outside.
Yeah.
And maybe inviting that kind of natural curiosity about the world. Oh, and also food, right? We're thinking about where could I find more fruit trees? Like, where are those bison roaming around? Or those woolly mammoths? Right.
Yeah. If you are a mystery fan out there and you have any suggestions for why you think mysteries are awesome, we'd love to see it in the chat box. But what you're saying is so interesting, because this is actually how this idea of classifying and getting deeper and deeper and deeper, and like a compulsion to know. This is the essence, in a lot of ways, of the Montessori sort of curriculum. Like, if I would say one of the truisms for how the curriculum sort of works writ large, which is you move from the sensorial into the abstract, and through this journey, you're kind of getting smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of where you focus. So in the lower elementary curriculum, there's a lot, as is in all areas, but in lower L specifically, I'm thinking there's a lot of focus on scientific taxonomy and other very specific kinds of words to describe the world. And we don't shy away from teaching children things like the parts of a spider and getting very technical. And in fact, the older the child gets, the more technical and precise we want them to get. And that's because if you think about the whole of how education works, you get to a point where you have an advanced degree. What did you spend your time on doing it with them for that advanced degree? It's focusing on something very, very, very specific. And if you get to the doctoral level, you're often just focusing on one very, 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 very specific thing of one very, 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 very specific domain. It becomes incredibly specialized, right? So the whole of our educational system kind of becomes more about focusing in on deeper and deeper as the mind is honed. So Montessori really replicates it. That's one of the reasons it's such a great method for preparing kids for success in life, academic and otherwise.
That is true. I want to bring us back to why mysteries are important.
Well, so I'm going to tie it in and say
okay. Go ahead.
Because it comes back to mystery. You want to know, the human compulsion to know, to answer the mystery. And as you learn more, you want to get further and further and further. And so all that research to know deeper and deeper, it's driven by that curiosity, which starts at birth. I mean, I don't know that there's any doubt, right? A baby is curious. Everything is interesting to a baby, right?
Everything is interesting to a baby. I mean, yeah, and not everything is interesting to us as adults.
No, that's right. No. We decided what we do want to spend our time.
Yes, on. And I'm seeing our children experiencing some boredom with some of the things that they've done over and over too.
Totally.
That's just part of growing up. As we know, it's one of the things about growing up is that stuff that you do over and over and over and have had a lot of experience with and maybe become an expert in, that stuff gets less interesting, and we have to continually intentionally get curious about new things.
Well, this is because this also relates again back to the idea of mystery. This is super appropriate, right? So the child, as Maria teaches us, they go through an incredible absorption period in that second plane, right? They just grab. They can learn all kinds of facts like we're going to talk about today. And the sense of mystery and wonder just fuels it. And then when they get to the second half of the second plane and into the third plane, they start to toss stuff out, right? Like, what do I actually want to know? What do I actually need to know? What is important to me and what's not important as their ego or as their self begins to develop. And they begin to get curious about other things and begin to specialize. So you look at that progression of development, the sense of wonder that that can drive the filling of the head, and then the sense of something else that can drive the parsing of that information down into what's important, that we continue on through life.
Okay, so back to the crux of mysteries. This morning you woke up.
Yeah.
And I was trying to wake up with my coffee and stuff, and you raced into the hallway and you greeted me. Your eyes were alive with a fire, and you said, "I have news." And I said, "What is it?" And you said, "They picked up our Christmas tree."
Oh, yes.
Because here it is, it's the end of January. We've had our Christmas tree out in our foyer, just waiting on the other side of our gate, waiting for the day when our scavenger
when the city will come get it,
comes and gets your tree and then chops it up into mulch, which is awesome. And we had to wait until our turn for this wonderful magical thing to happen. And so last night you put out the tree, right. And so this morning, you went to the window and you were checking to see if the tree was gone.
Yes.
And it was gone.
It was.
And that made you happy. But then you noticed something else.
That's right.
And so this is what David greets me with. He says, "I have news." And I said, "What is the news?" And he says, "Our tree is gone." And I'm like, "That's great." And he said, "And also our trash cans are gone." And I went to the window and I looked. And indeed, he was right. There's no trash cans out there. And
right.
So this is a mystery. So we were wondering, why are our trash cans gone? Did the city pick them up, or did they put them in a place where we couldn't see them, or did they put them over at a neighbor's house or something?
A tree tax is.
And it was kind of an exciting moment, right? There was that moment, and it came with a little bit of fear. oh no, what if we don't have trash can? Like, what if we don't have trash cans anymore? What will we do with our trash? Are we gonna have to call the city and tell them like, did you pick up our trash cans? Are we gonna have to go to our neighbors' houses and like peer around, see if we can find them?
Yes. Which dirty
But
trash can is
also,
ours?
it's like an unusual event for this morning, and it
That's
was
right.
kind of fun, to have that mystery, and we have not yet solved it. Or I don't know if you have. Did you go downstairs and look and
No,
find
I was
those
waiting
trash cans?
for a boy to wake up to send out to solve this mystery.
Well, anyway,
This is a
mysteries as adults are still exciting to us.
Definitely.
And it doesn't have to be a big thing in order for us to get all like find that energy and that curiosity. And almost, I think that there is something. You and I both looked outside and we were both like, where did those trash cans go?
Well,
They're
and you're
gone,
looking, I see
right?
suspects on the right and the left, and who's.
I know. But neither of us went outside to actually solve that mystery. It was just kind of fun I think it's fun to like be in the moment and to let like the mysterious nature of the world just kind of take over for a little
That's
bit
right.
because it's novel. And so children are also seeking these novel experiences. And guess what? When your child is curious about the world, it's great for their brains to grow, right? They're going to grow up and hopefully find something that they love to do that will be their career. And, we all hope this for our children. But there's also a very practical reason that we are inviting children in with these mysteries. And David and I talked earlier about some of these really important skills or reasons that mysteries might be important in your daily life. And so when I asked David earlier, I was like, what do you think of when you think of like a daily mystery that you have to solve? So obviously we had a real life mystery this morning, but he said immediately, where are my keys? A very common mystery. And I attached one of those find my keys little tags. Those things are great. But you can read stories online of people like trying to track down their keys, their practical things. I think that when we are encouraging our children to solve mysteries with the Montessori materials, like the Pink Tower and other sensorial materials or other materials, this is helping them to get comfortable with the unknown.
Because what is the answer to where are my keys or where do the trash cans go, right? You're going to start by eliminating the least likely and then kind of getting down to the more and more likely. So what are some other things that you might use this sort of
maybe you didn't even need to use your keys at the time that you noticed that your keys weren't in their usual spot.
Right. So
children are being trained for this kind of visual discrimination.
That's right.
Something is out of order. There's something not quite right about this. And sometimes I experience that when I actually literally walk past the little hook where my keys are supposed to be and I notice the keys aren't there. There's that little like, something is out of order.
That's right.
Got to go find those keys.
And that visual discrimination is a critical skill in learning to read and processing, the symbols on the page or numbers or things like that. And like you were saying, it's a critical skill in just sort of critical thinking, problem solving, which is what mysteries are all about.
Yeah. So some of the common things that you are solving today that you might not even think about as a mystery might be, how long does it take me to get somewhere? I've got to drop my kid off at gymnastics.
Where am I going to eat?
What time
lunch?
Do I need to leave in order to get there in time? Is there going to be parking? There's a lot of mystery going on in daily life when you're just shuffling your kids around. We talked about menu planning too.
Yeah. So what's in my refrigerator? I forgot to plan something for tonight. Like, what do I need to do? Do I have to go buy something? Can I make it using the ingredients on hand?
What is the best day to go shopping where it won't be super crowded at the grocery store and we can get out easy?
Speaking of our Christmas tree, we went out of town for a while and we came back and the tree was nice and crispy. So an actual question you might ask is, will my plants make it?
will my plants make it when I'm out of town?
Exactly. Like, I'm going to be gone for X number of
moist?
days, and do I need to buy a device? So it's a mystery, right? And of a sort of a mystery. Scientific mystery for sure.
Oh, it's definitely a mystery. Yeah. And same with animals. I know that we don't have pets, but when my brother goes out of town, he definitely has to figure out, what do we do with the dogs? They're too big to travel with us.
Speaking of dogs, have you ever wondered about that barking dog. Whose dog is barking somewhere in the neighborhood, right? So that's another kind of mystery I was thinking about. Like, so you're walking down and you like I said, you see the cat. Like, I don't recognize that cat. Where'd that cat come from? Is that a neighbor cat? A stray cat? And then you want to figure this out. It's a kind of a mystery. So
it is.
We're surrounded by things that invite us to be curious about the world. And in Montessori, we can create materials, or we have materials created, or lessons like the one we're going to teach you today, that can really feed into that natural curiosity and use the power of mystery to spark something.
Yes. All right. So specific Montessori materials that involve mysteries that you may not be thinking of. You mentioned the pink tower.
That's right.
Right. So, and I know it's not behind us
anymore.
anymore.
To have it back here.
But the way the pink tower is built, from largest to smallest, or on a rug from smallest to largest, noticing when one of those cubes is out of order, it's just mysterious. It's like a puzzle, right?
Mm-hmm. Or wondering what would happen if you built it upside down.
That for sure happens.
It does
all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know a child that hasn't tried at least once to,
well, they're curious, right?
Down.
It's a mystery. Yes. And then that can lead, depending on the age of the child, it leads to like, well, why can't the giant ones balance on the little one?
If you are in our primary course, you're probably thinking about the mystery bag. I mean, we call it the mystery bag.
Yeah.
And that is a lesson that we teach in the primary course because it can be applied to so many different subject areas.
And how does in a nutshell, how does the mystery bag work for those who aren't familiar?
Okay, so the mystery bag, it's a simple concept. You probably have seen one at a museum before. It's where you have a bag and there are objects inside, and you just reach your hand in and you don't know what's in there at first, and you use your senses to try and figure out what it is. And so sometimes you might be familiar with like the shoebox version. It's not something that is only used in Montessori, but it is a technique that we can apply to a variety of Montessori materials. It's actually, the technical name is the Stereognostic bag, because we're appealing to the Stereognostic sense.
That's right.
Sense of touch.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of makes you think also about like the smelling jars and other things like that, where you're using other senses to sort of try and parse through a mystery. I was thinking of the continent map, if you're teaching a lesson on Pangea or continental drift, and could you put those together, and then a mystery like, why do they seem to fit together? And maybe that can spark sort of a thought in the child's mind, like, how does all this work? The inventive spelling of a movable alphabet.
Hearing a word, and it is very mysterious, trying to figure out how to puzzle together the sounds and the letters
or
represent them.
Or another way, like, what would happen if I put the letter T, Z, and Q together? What word does that make? So that's also kind of a mystery, right? Right. It's an invented word, but we encourage inventive spelling and the playing with letters.
We need a vowel in there.
We need a vowel in there.
So all kinds of puzzly things, even the golden beads in math are a kind of mystery. We also have lots of different sorting cards that are kind of mysterious. Is this classified as a mammal or a reptile? And so we're trying to look at the characteristics of that animal and figure it out. And all of these lessons are building your child up to be a resilient human being who can solve problems in their daily life and in their work.
That's right. To tie it back to that earlier kind of philosophical, like, we're sitting them ready to fill their head with all this information so that they're ready to use critical thinking to start to parse through it, and when they're ready to decide what really matters in their life, what they want to focus on, what they're curious about.
All right. Show us web, because we have a fun lesson. We're actually going to give you a peek into one of our constellation thematic units.
That's right. So web is, it's in our store, but we're going to show you a lesson from this. It's called the Who Am I cards. And the Who Am I cards is another Montessori lesson that uses mystery. We're going to use these materials as an example, but the principles are the same. So you can make it up yourself and use it in a variety of ways.
All right.
So for ours, though, this is, we're going to show you that it's going to teach you how to, it's going to focus on life science, because we're going to be talking about arachnids in this case. If you used another subject, if you were looking at who am I for famous painters, that would be art. But it's also other things like reading, and let's show the materials.
Yeah, great. All right. So the first thing we're going to do with these cards, and I'm just going to hold up a few examples for you. You can actually hold up a couple of these cards. All right. So I don't know. This one is a little hard to see. Here's a good one you can see pretty well. Yeah. All right, so these are arachnids. Ooh, this is one of my favorites. All right, so here we've got the mirror spider. It actually has little tiny mirror. It has little reflective light, light catching areas all over its body. I don't know, it's kind of tiny. I don't know if you can see, but it is one of my favorite little spiders. They're so beautiful. If you go and you look up mirror spiders, I encourage you to go do that right now because they are so beautiful, and you can see all of these gorgeous pictures of them online. We have a trapdoor spider here. And what is yours?
Got
yours
a spiny-backed orb weaver.
Spiny-backed orb weaver. That's also one of my favorites.
Yeah.
First time I saw one of those, I was visiting my brother in Florida.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I'd never seen one of those before.
So in total, we have about 20 different arachnids here?
Yeah, we're not going to show them all.
But you want a variety of material. You want a variety of, in this case, images, right? So we have the 20 different arachnids. And what are we going to do now? Okay, so then the other part of this work is we have cards that go with them. All right, so these are little information cards. And this is a Who Am I activity. So we're going to be looking at, let's see, we're going to be looking at this example. Here's the mirror spider. Okay, and then we have some text that goes with it. That you don't necessarily know if it goes with it until you read it. Yeah, so we prepared these ahead of time so we would have it. But in reality, they'd all be jumbled up, and even you, the adult, aren't necessarily going to know who goes where. Exactly. So, so David and I talked a lot about whether we should have an answer key for these or not. Some of our members were like, "How do we know which ones go with which?" And the answer is, if you write your who am I statements correctly with enough description, then that is the whole purpose. It's the mystery. And I think sometimes as adults, we are less comfortable with things that don't have answer keys. That's right. And especially I think this is because of the way the traditional public school system or traditional school systems educate us to always be looking for the correct answer. We turn in our work, the teacher grades it, they check which ones we've got the correct answers of, and then maybe we have to redo it or whatever to make sure we get the correct answer. Anyway, we're always looking for correct answers, and often they come from other sources of authoritative voice. And yeah, that's right. So in Montessori, what we want to encourage our children to do and really, help them to build the skill for is being uncomfortable, with not knowing exactly if this is the by the book correct answer, but instead using their own brains to assess and to use their critical thinking skills to decide for themselves, is this correct, and to check their own answers to see if they're correct somehow. So we call this in Montessori control of error. And so in this work, the control of error is actually built into these cards, the information cards. So let's just do a couple examples so that they can see how they work. Sure. And you can make this for just about any subject area. Yeah, I said famous artists or composers or types of rocks or whatever. Doesn't matter. You're going to have a set of, I think you would always have images, and you would have questions or statements that you have written, and that is the who am I that we have here. So here we're going to start with an easy one. So of the spiny-backed orb weaver, the mirror spider, or the trapdoor spider, which you would have laid out on your rug. And to be clear, this is especially for the younger ones, you're going to probably start with a smaller selection to try and match to, right? If you were going to do this with a younger kid, you wouldn't want to have all 20 out at the same time. Yeah, like for a toddler or a young preschooler. Yeah. That's correct. Okay, are you ready? I am ready. All right, so of these three, David, you have choices of, you're looking at the picture of the trapdoor spider, the mirror spider, or the spiny-backed orb weaver. Okay. All right.
And we've already explored these images and really talked about them with the kids, let them really look at them, named them, laid them out on the rug. Now we're reading the information cards. I am quite possibly the most dazzling spider in the world. Some compare me to a disco ball, others to a sequin dress. The reflection scares away my predators and hides me. I spin a tangled web that has no real pattern to it. Sometimes I attach a sticky string to the ground to catch my prey. Who am I?
Okay.
I
Well,
am the most dazzling spider in the world.
yeah. So there's a few clues in there. I mean, one is right. So there's your control of error, dazzling. I'm going to guess it's this mirror spider since it is a dazzling spider. So that would be one clue. There are other clues, though, that your child or you might use, like trying to figure out where did my trash cans go. You can eliminate things. So it says, I spin webs. So probably not this trapdoor spider, since it looks like it's a burrowing spider. So maybe it has webs or maybe it doesn't, but it doesn't seem to be. So I can eliminate one of them already. Okay, now that leaves me with this yellow guy here, the spiny-backed orb weaver and the mirror spider. And you had mentioned that it is dazzling. And so I would say
disco ball.
that the disco ball-like back of this mirror spider is the likely match.
Okay, but we don't know that for sure.
We don't know that for sure.
Because we haven't matched the other cards.
That's right.
So we're just going to place these together. You can show them how they would put them on a rug.
Yeah.
On a rug, they would be like just next to each other. You would have this all laid out on a rug, and then you would match this to it, right? So they just be next to each other. You could also do under. It doesn't really matter. Yeah. All right. So then I'm going to read another one, and we're gonna see what we might be able to match this. We'll kind of we'll just kind of see which spider this sounds like. All right, here it is. I do not build a web or live up high. As soon as I am born, I construct a burrow underground. I even make a door with a silken hinge. I hide inside. When an insect comes near me, I jump out of my hole and capture my food. It's a trap.
It's a trap.
Who am I?
Well, again, I'm using, we have a word there to help clue us in, trap and trap door. But you also, through the description, you said it's a burrowing spider. If your child doesn't know what the word burrowing means, this is a time to introduce that vocabulary word. So this is why it's both a life science activity, because you're learning about different arachnids and what is an arachnid, but it's also a reading and writing activity. So I'm going to guess that it is this trapdoor spider.
All right. We can put these together.
Okay.
All right. All right, here's another one. Let's see. All right. Okay, here's the last one of this little set. I am brightly colored. I have a very cute spiny bag that looks like a shell. Ooh. I am an orb weaver, and I weave a spiral web. I will spin my web anywhere. You may find me in the garden, along a fence, or in the crook of a porch ceiling. Who am I?
Well, again, and there's a lot of control of error, possible language in there. You said he's an orb weaver. I also, it has a shell-like back. So this reminds me of a crab. I'm going to guess.
And I use the word spiny as well.
Spiny, that's right. So I'm going to guess, not only because I only have one process of elimination, but based on the description, that these are going to go together.
Okay, and then we would put those together on the rug. Here is the thing. If you get to the end, say, we get to this happy face spider and it doesn't seem to match the description.
Yeah.
But it's the only one left and it doesn't seem to match the description. What do we do?
I think you rip them up in rage and throw them in the air. No, you have to go back and proof your work.
You've got to go back and proof your work, right? And there's no answer key.
Hello, Vidya.
Hi, Vidya. Good to see you. Yeah, there's no answer key. So what does that mean? That means that we need to go back to each one and read the description and see if we can find those keywords.
That's right.
Okay, keywords is it's an educational term that you'll probably come across in elementary. It's very common when you are doing reading comprehension activities, which are very commonly tested on, specifically in the later ages in elementary ages. But what are keywords exactly? What does that mean?
Well, they're words within a passage that clue you in about the main theme or topic, or in this case, the correct spider, or sorry, arachnid that we're trying to match to. So let's see here in this trapdoor spider, keywords would be burrow, underground, silken hinge, jump out of a hole, so hole, trap.
Yes.
So those would all be keywords, right? They're also kind of specialized words, right? I think probably not by accident. So are you picking up on these kind of specialized words that have a very specific meaning that are cluing us in to this? And we use keywords naturally whenever we try and decipher a text. So whether we're reading a news article or a novel, our brains are looking for keywords to help us parse through all that information.
We use
sense
it when we're giving directions to each other too.
That's right.
Say Google Maps doesn't exist right now, and I'm telling you how to get to the convenience store, right?
Yeah.
I might say, first you're going to go stop at the first stop sign, take a left, and once you get past the house with the blue awning, then you know that you're getting close. It's just 2 houses down from that. You know, so I'm using keywords in my descriptive language in real life, and hopefully he's hearing them and listening to them, and he's thinking, okay, stop sign, keyword, house, blue awning, 2 doors down, and those are the key words that he's using to solve the mystery of how do I get to that convenience store.
That's right.
So these are really practical skills, and we do use them in reading passages too. When your child is reading more complex books, in order to fully comprehend what's happening in the plot, they will need to be their brains will need to be zoning in on keywords. You can think of these keywords as being kind of like answer keys for any of these problem solving activities.
That's right.
So, if you ask, like, where is the answer key? How do I know if I got these cards matched correctly? The answer is in the keywords.
Yeah. So the key for you, if you're making, so for example, in the set that we provided here, we include extra blanks if you wanted to add more arachnids or something else. And when you are writing your own, whether you're using our template or not, you want to make sure that you're incorporating enough of those keywords that this child or you or another adult could figure it out. So that is the key.
I have to say, I also have to give a plug for writing these Who Am I card mysteries. They're really, really fun to write. And you can make them up for any subject that your child is interested in. Let's think for cars. A lot of kids are interested in cars.
Like dinosaurs.
You can make them up with your child's toys. Wouldn't that be so fun? So so go into your child's room. It's a challenge for you. Okay. So grab a set of index cards. All right. All you need is like a set of index cards, the size, right? Go into your child's room and pick out like 5 of your child's toys. Try and make them smallish toys. Maybe put them inside a box or a bag. Bring them over to a rug. And then you are going to write, or you and your child can write, Who Am I mystery cards.
That's right.
And you can just start with, this toy has red paint and it goes very fast.
I have fuzzy red arms and whatever. Right.
Right. I have
Who am I?
Fuzzy red arms and big googly eyes. Yeah. Right. Who am I? And so it doesn't.
Stuffy.
Here we have, put some keywords in there. So in ours, obviously the text is quite long. There's a lot. I don't know if you can see this. There's a lot of keywords in there. And this is a more complicated activity. I mean, you're picking from between the grass spider and the happy face spider. It can get quite complicated.
I'll attest to that. When I was sorting them, I had to go back and proof them.
Yes.
Because I did not initially
I know.
pair them correctly when I was putting them together for this video.
That's why it's a fun that's why it's a
That's
good activity. But it's also just a fun activity to do with your child.
It is.
Make some Who Am I cards.
Because mysteries are fun.
Yes, mysteries are fun. So you could make them for, you can make them with your older child, for your younger child, with their toys.
Your younger child's going to want to make them for your older child too.
Same, yes.
And you're going to work with them.
And if you have one child at home, you could make them for mommy or for daddy, for when they get home. I know we used to do that a lot for you. You would come home and we would say, we made something for you. Come see it. We probably still do when you're gone, and in reverse when I'm gone and I come back. The kids are always really excited to share.
They made cookies for you when you were gone because then,
and they made it a mystery too.
And they made it exactly. They were
totally
like, "Don't come.
You're
not allowed to come in the kitchen. Don't tell."
I walked in. I knew what was for dinner because I had helped our youngest with the potato leek soup before I left, but I only helped halfway, and then I left him to figure out the rest of the recipe and the cooking. To what end? We ate it, and it was delicious. So when I got back, they both said, "Don't come in the kitchen. Go to the couch. Go to the couch." And so I went to the couch and I sat down probably at my computer and did some more work and chatted with David. And then they were like, "Do not let mom come in the kitchen. Don't let her come in the kitchen." And they were really, really clear about that. And before long, I started smelling something that smelled delicious.
That's right.
And I described it. I said, "I smelled something." And they were like, "What do you smell, Mom?" And I said, "It smells actually kind of caramel, like caramel."
That's right.
I did not guess the correct thing. I was like, "It smells kind of caramelly." And then they came out and they were like, "You're right, because we made sugar cookies."
That's right.
And some of them burned. Some of them burned, and so they the sugar caramelized.
They did caramelize.
I know. This is so sweet. Anyway, this is
real life mystery.
We're going to wrap this up here, friends. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you took away some fun ideas, and I hope that you start thinking about what little mysteries you can add to your homeschool life with your children, or even if your children are in school, just your life with your children in general, because mysteries are fun. They are human. We all love them in one way or another. Even if sometimes they make us frustrated, that's all part of learning.
The satisfaction of solving a frustrating problem is one of the greatest thrills in the world.
Yes. So if this Montessori way of life is calling to you, head over to our website, childoftheredwoods.com. That's where you can find both free, like these YouTube lives that we do every single week, this time at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific.
That's right.
And you can also find low-cost support for you working with your child at home.
Yeah. Well, we'd love to see you there. If you have any questions, just email us at hello or at childoftheredwoods.com or chat with us, and we will see you next week.
Oh, all right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Next week, we're going to be back giving you a peek into our next theme that is coming up for February and Constellation.
We're going to talk about hands-on learning.
We're going to talk about hands-on learning and give you a little peek into our newest theme that is not in the shop yet, but it is coming up for Constellation, and it is very magical and colorful. So I'll leave you with that mystery. All right.
Oh, a mystery. Yeah.
Love you, friends.
Bye.
Bye-bye.